Divine revelation. Satan fears 12 Black Israelites. Spiritual awakening prophesied for 40 days, in the heart of the city, with its busy streets humming like a sacred chant. 12 Black Israelites gathered at the heart of Zion. The air crackled with energy, alive with flickering candlelight and timeless hymns. Elijah, their devoted leader, felt an electric call from heaven. This wasn't just any night, this was a night of divine revelation. He shut his eyes tight, praying fervently, when suddenly the room shimmered with golden light, waterfalls of peace cascading over them. It was as if the heavens opened, a soft whisper pierced the stillness. Your community will awaken. Elijah's heart raced. He could feel the presence, a warm embrace from God, wrapping around him like a mighty river. A vision loomed in his mind, a day of radical change, filled with hope, sweeping through the streets where despair had lingered too long. His spirit ignited as he opened his eyes, facing his companions who were caught in awe. Brothers and sisters, he declared with a voice strong and clear, a spiritual awakening is upon us. As whispers turned into fervent shouts, their resolve solidified. Elijah and his 11 companions embarked on a journey like no other, a 40-day fast of prayer and penance. They envisioned a divine movement, one that honored their ancestors and sought intercession from the patron saints they cherished. The challenge was daunting, yet each moment floated with a sacred high, even as self-doubt crept in. The streets outside echoed their misgivings, an embodiment of the skepticism swirling within their community. Will this really bring change? Someone questioned on the second day of fasting, echoes of uncertainty laced in the corners of their minds. Bonds were tested as fears spilled over. Family members weighed heavy doubts against their devotion. Tears mingled with solemn prayers, yet those sacred moments revealed raw courage, a commitment to redefining hope in the face of adversity. Then miracles began to unfold. Healing stories sprang like sunflowers in their community. An elderly woman regained her sight, a wayward son found his way back, and a teen once lost in despair began sharing his transformation. Each encounter ignited glowing embers of faith. Elijah smiled, watching the light return to weary faces, his heart warmed in inexplicable joy. As the 40 days stretched into a new horizon, the anticipation surged. Satan fears when the awakened rise. Elijah proclaimed. His words danced through the air among the congregants as the final day loomed near, a day painted with miraculous beginnings. The gathering at Heart of Zion felt charged, a cosmic resonance holding tight the promise of unity. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day arrived, and as they gathered, the air stirred, charged with something divine. Whole families came, their hearts yearning for hope. When their prayers swirled as one, the atmosphere thickened with electrifying promise. Moments breathed in faith as miracles ignited faith anew. Suddenly, a chilling wind swept through, stirring uncertainty. Would they rise together? Would their purpose prevail in the face of doubt? All at once, one lingering question broke through the comfort of hopeful whispers: could they truly remain steadfast, or would shadows obscure their light in the days to come? The sun rose with a profound intensity, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson. The people of Heart of Zion gathered with hearts pounding, breaths held tight in anticipation. Elijah stood at the helm, his presence radiating strength. There was an extraordinary hush, a sacred silence where every soul felt the weight of the moment. His voice broke through the quiet, calm but firm. Today marks not just an end but a beginning. Today, we ignite our faith. He raised his arms, revealing a captivating aura of divine signal that enveloped the congregation. It was as if heaven itself had drawn closer, the atmosphere thick with the promise of miracles. Families held hands tightly, eyes mirrored the stories of their ancestors, their trials and triumphs woven into the very fabric of their being. As Elijah's voice echoed throughout the room, he spoke of bonds that could not break, of hope that would not dim, and of a purpose so significant it made hearts tremble. Elijah called forth testimonies of what had been witnessed. A young girl stepped forward, her smile bright like the sun. I can see the world again. My heart was once heavy, but now I walk in light. Cheers erupted, waves of faith surging through the crowd, intertwining like a tapestry of divine love. The atmosphere crackled again, gravity suspended, and hope became palpable. As the murmurs of excitement swelled, one elder approached, his trembling hands poised in reverent prayer. Elijah, he spoke, voice quivering with emotion, what if the darkness tries to creep back in? How do we guard this light? Elijah's eyes sparkled with wisdom gained through trials. God's flame cannot be snuffed out by fear. We are the torchbearers of his light. In gratitude, we will guard it with love and unity. We rise together, cloaked in his promises. And if shadows try to invade, we shine brighter, for every heart united is a fortress. The congregation cried out with fervor, the sound rising like a wave crashing against the rocks. No fear, only faith. Elijah's heart swelled with affection as he gazed at his companions, tenacious and brave. Each of them held flames of determination that flickered and danced, illuminating the path ahead, yet, amid the jubilant cries, an undercurrent of doubt lingered. Just as a dark cloud passed over the sun, a shudder of fear swept through the assembly. Would they be tested again? Would their unity hold fast against the storms of negativity? In that very moment, the room erupted with a collective prayer, voices weaving through the air like a harmonious choir. We are more than conquerors. Our faith shall not waver. Each syllable pulsed with strength, resonating within the very bones of the city, igniting souls long forgotten. As the day unfurled, not just as a promise but as a living testament of faith, Elijah sensed something shifting in the atmosphere. A deep stirring, a message yet unspoken, hung above them. The final moments of their fast approached, yet the revelation was not complete. What awaited them beyond this threshold? With the crowd still buzzing, Elijah raised a finger to the sky, beckoning the presence of the Spirit, ready for what was to come. The question loomed, echoing in the hearts of all: could this moment be just the beginning of their greatest battle? Would they be equipped to face the unseen forces that would challenge them? As reverberations of faith filled the air, they stood at the edge of something monumental. Today would reveal more than they ever dreamed. But what divine mystery lay beyond the horizon? With a shift in the atmosphere, the people felt the gravity of their gathering grow heavier yet lighter. Elijah sensed it too, a stirring within, deeper than mere anticipation. His heart beat in rhythm with the collective worship, and he turned his gaze to the window where the sun poured in like warm honey, wrapping around them in a glow. Look! He exclaimed, pointing outward. The glory of God shines brighter than our struggles, brighter than any shadow that seeks to divide us. The congregation turned as one, their eyes soaking in the beauty of the dawn, igniting an urgency in their spirits. A gentle breeze blew through, carrying whispers of encouragement. It danced between them, as if the Spirit itself was mingling with their breaths. Faces lit up, expressions shifting from doubt to revelation. Those who had come with heavy hearts began to feel chains loosening, burdens lifting. Remember, Elijah continued, for every trial faced, there is a testimony waiting. For every fear that arises, there is faith to silence it. We stand on promises, not on the shifting sands of uncertainty. His voice rose, an anthem of hope weaving through the crowd, knitting their spirits together. He lifted his hands once more, palms wide, inviting the divine presence to flow through them. Let us ask for signs. Let us seek his face. In unity, may our cries ascend like incense before the throne. And so they did, their voices harmonizing, rising to the heavens, creating a symphony of prayers. As they called upon the Lord, a thick hush settled over them, once again a space where heaven brushed against earth. It was palpable, the kind of divine stillness where one could almost hear a heartbeat of something greater than themselves. Then, a figure emerged from the back, a man with weathered features and eyes sparkling with fervor. I've seen it. He proclaimed, voice strong amidst the silence. A vision. In our gathering, I saw thousands. Not just us, but people from near and far, drawn together by God's beacon. Can you feel it? Gasps of wonder rippled through the audience. Could it be? The thought danced in their hearts, igniting fresh embers of excitement. Elijah smiled, beckoning the man closer. Tell us, brother, what did you see? In vibrant detail, the man recounted his vision of a vast multitude, unified by a shared spirit, praising with hearts ablaze. A wave of revival was coming. One that could not be contained. I saw chains breaking, curses lifting, and lives transformed. Elijah's heart soared. Can you believe that? In this very gathering, God's Spirit carries the power to shift not just our lives, but our whole community. The energy in the room bolstered, hearts intertwined with purpose. Yet, within that exhilaration, a solemn reminder lingered: darkness would not quietly surrender. Brothers and sisters, Elijah declared, we must be vigilant. Like sentinels on the watchtower, we fend off negativity and despair. Those forces are cunning, they will come, seeking to corrupt our unity. In this sacred moment, a fearsome determination arose. They would be the light that darkness feared. Resolute faces shone with renewed commitment, hands clenched tight around the spirit of unity. Elijah called them again, let us return to prayer. Let us confirm that which we have received. The room erupted into prayer once more, this time more fervent, more desperate. But as their cries roared, a sudden chilling silence fell. An unseen presence felt thick like fog, creeping in almost uninvited, dancing on the fringes. Could it be the very thing they feared? Elijah felt the tension coil in the air, a heavy truth weighing upon him. How would they respond when the shadows threatened to swamp their light? As the intensity swirled, hearts raced, not knowing if the light would pierce through or if this would be a test of faith like no other. A question hung: would they rise to face this trial, knowing that answers awaited beyond the threshold of fear? The mystery stirred, coaxing a deeper response. What lay just around the corner? Would they harness the power of their faith and shine through, undaunted? The stillness thickened, a weight pressing down on the collective spirit. Elijah's heart raced, not from fear, but from the fierce anticipation brewing within him. He could feel the air crackling, a sign of the unseen forces at play. Stay focused. He encouraged the congregation. What we ask for in faith, we shall receive. Remember, greater is he who is in us than he who is in the world. The people nodded, their eyes glistening with determination. They formed a circle, hands joined, hearts beating together in palpable unity. Elijah began to pray aloud, his voice rising, carrying their hopes like incense. Father, we stand here, united in your name. We ask for strength against the shadows, for clarity in the midst of confusion, and for your light to pierce through every veil of darkness. As he spoke, a flicker of light danced in the air above them, shimmering softly like 1,000 fireflies. The congregation felt it a stirring, a movement that coursed through their joined hands and warmed their souls. It was in those moments that they leaned into each other, both physically and spiritually, as if their very closeness could fend off the creeping chill. Then, from the back, a voice shouted, "It's here. The presence of God is among us." Elation erupted like a wave, filling the space with an electric energy. The earlier tension broke apart, replaced with audacity and joy. "Look!" someone cried, pointing at the ceiling where the light intensified, casting radiant beams throughout the room. "Can you see it? His glory is filling this place." Eyes widened in amazement, and a gentle hush settled again, not one of fear, but of awe. Each one could feel the truth of that moment encoding itself into their very beings. Elijah paused, sensing a shift as he whispered, "We are not alone, we never have been. This is a foretaste of what is to come. God's hand is drawing us closer, preparing us for the mission ahead." But amidst their joy, a reminder whispered in Elijah's spirit: the enemy was relentless. "We will encounter trials," he warned gently, "let us remember the words of Scripture, when darkness encroaches, we shall not fear, for he is our refuge." Several voices murmured their agreement, yet a flicker of fear still danced behind their eyes. They had gathered, facing a challenge together, but what awaited them was as yet unknown. What if the shadows grow stronger? One trembling voice reverberated. Elijah stepped closer, looking each person in the eye. We will look to the promise instead of the peril. Our faith will be our shield. Remember, a little light dispels even the darkest darkness. We take heart because we know we are not battling against flesh and blood but against powers and principalities. In this spiritual awakening, our call is clear: to be lightbearers in a lost world. This revival we feel isn't for us alone, but for many. Are we ready to embrace the journey ahead? The question hung like incense in the air, the answer forming in their hearts. Was it possible that they were being called to something greater? Could their small gathering ripple out, like a stone dropped in still water, touching lives beyond their own? I feel it, cried another congregant, raising his voice in excitement. This is our moment. We cannot retreat from what God has planned. Elijah nodded vigorously, his spirit ignited. Indeed. But, let us remain vigilant. When we step into the light, the darkness will react. We are on the brink of something monumental, a spiritual awakening unlike any we have seen. As they sank into deep prayer once more, a sense of urgency stirred. They sought not just for themselves, but for a community that desperately needed hope. Each voice melded together, rising higher, reaching toward the heavens in fervor. Outside, the sun began to dip, painting the horizon in fiery hues, a reminder of what lay ahead. Resilience brewed in their hearts. They were united not only in their struggles but also in their aspirations, yet, as the shadows lengthened, a sense of foreboding loomed, asking, what challenges would come to test their resolve? Would they recognize the spiritual battles ahead or falter under pressure? The air grew thicker, charged with divine anticipation. All wondered, what would emerge from the darkness, and would they be ready to stand in faith against it? The air felt electric, thick with the weight of unseen possibilities. As the congregation held hands, the pulse of faith radiated through them, stronger than ever before. Elijah raised his eyes towards the flickering light, feeling the warmth swirl around him, each flicker a reminder of God's presence enveloping them. Let us not forget, he began, his voice steady and clear, what we feel here tonight is just the beginning. The spiritual awakening sweeping over us is a beacon for many still lost in the darkness. We are called to such a time as this, to share his love and light. Their hearts beat in unison as they absorbed his words, a collective sigh of determination rising like incense. It was a familiar rhythm. They remembered the stories of the Israelites, how they had wandered and waited, yet God had never left them. Suddenly, another voice rang out, trembling yet filled with passion. Can we truly change our community? Will this call bring about real transformation? The concern murmured among them, fear twinging at the edges. It was the uncertainty that crept into every heart, the fear of stepping into the unknown. Elijah responded with compassion, stepping forward to draw the one speaking into the circle. Listen, he said softly, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel unprepared. God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. His promise assures us that he works all things together for good. As he spoke, the flickering light darted low, hovering over them like a warm blanket. The faces in the circle reflected hope, even amidst their doubts. The power of what they were building, of who they were becoming, began to dissolve the remnants of fear standing guard in their hearts. Another member, eyes shining with fervor, interjected, we can't retreat. We are meant to rise. Who are we to deny the call of the Almighty? His words cut through the lingering trepidation, igniting a fire within each soul present. Exactly, shouted someone from the back, a young woman whose voice rang strong and true. Our heritage is one of overcoming. Just like Esther, we are here for such a time as this. We are meant to stand, to declare his goodness, and to be the light he has called us to be. In that moment, a wave of unity washed over them. They felt a strength igniting, fueled by shared purpose. Elijah could feel it, they were transforming right before his eyes. Let us take this time to pray for clarity, he urged. To define what he is saying to us in this season. As they bowed their heads again, an atmosphere of expectancy thickened. They prayed fervently, voices lifting higher, each soul laying its burdens down, speaking words of assurance, each moment building interconnectedness. With each prayer, threads of hope wove through them. Transformation was beginning to seep into the very fabric of their purpose. Suddenly, a deep hush fell. In that quiet, amidst the fervent prayers, a sound rolled through the space, a mere whisper, yet an undeniable presence, flowing through each heart. A revelation danced just beyond their reach, waiting to be grasped. Then it arrived, not as they expected, but as something unique and powerful, swirling like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind. What if the trials are not just challenges? Elijah spoke softly, his heart racing. What if they are the refining fire preparing us for something beyond our dreams? His words lingered in the air, echoing in their minds. Could it be that Satan was already trembling at the thought of their awakening? A divine revelation poised to stir the souls of many, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the skies in shades of gold and purple. They wondered. What awaited them in the days ahead? What truths were waiting to emerge from the shadows? The journey was just beginning, and the air buzzed with potential, a divine invitation into something greater. Would they seize it? Would the shadows bow before the light, or would they stand firm, ready for battle? Elijah's heart raced as he realized they were on the precipice of something miraculous. What awaited them in the dawn of revelation to come? With the prayers still lingering like incense in the air, something shifted. The quiet growl of uncertainty transformed into a gentle rumble of anticipation. Elijah could feel it in his bones, a knowing that tonight was not just any night. It was a promise unfolding before them. As they lifted their heads from prayer, the flickering light intensified, casting golden hues across the faces gathered. Hope glimmered in their eyes, and Elijah sensed their spirits rising, ready to chase away the shadows of doubt that had cloaked their hearts. They weren't just a small group anymore, they were a movement of divine purpose. Let us share what we saw, Elijah encouraged, his voice soft yet powerful. What did God stir in your hearts during prayer? He looked around, meeting eager gazes and expectant faces. One elder, wise with the years and trials he had faced, stepped forward. I saw a stream of light, flowing through our community, touching lives, healing the broken-hearted. His hands signaled forward as if he could see it clearly, a cascading river, bringing life to every corner. We are called to be vessels of that light. Nods of agreement rippled through the group, and others began to share visions of unity, reconciliation, and love. A single voice, buoyed by passion, said, I felt chains breaking. Chains of fear, chains of addiction, chains that have held us captive for generations. God is calling us to be free, to reclaim what is rightfully ours. The atmosphere thickened with fervor. Elijah watched as different members began to recount personal stories of loss and victories, testaments of faith that had fortified their resolve. Each story ignited a latent flame within the circle, of promise reborn in their hearts. As the youngest member raised her hand shyly, a hush fell over the congregation. I just want to say, she began, her voice trembling but steady, that prayer isn't just words. It's a conversation. God is listening to us, and I believe He is asking us to take action. Elijah felt a surge of energy wash over him. She was right. This awakening wasn't merely for their own edification. It was a challenge to step out and into the world, to bind the wounds around them, to illuminate the dark corners of their community. How do we do that? Someone asked, uncertainty creeping in again. It was a familiar question, echoing the doubts they had faced before. By being present. By meeting people where they are. Elijah urged. We must not only share our faith but live it. We must embody everything we believe. Each heart was a vessel, ready to overflow with grace. Suddenly, the light shifted brighter, more direct, as if God was shining upon them, urging them forward. Let us make a commitment, Elijah said, feeling the flame of courage rise within. To reach out to someone this week. To show love in tangible ways. We are not here just for ourselves, we are here to serve, to heal, to awaken those who are still lost. Spurred by this declaration, murmurs of agreement spun through the air. Ideas flew, shared and shaped with vigor. They sprinkled hope like seeds among each other, pledging to be vessels of light in a dark world. Watching this unfold, Elijah felt a tremor of divine excitement pulse within him. Could it be that they were on the brink of a movement that would echo through time? A profound realization dawned on his spirit, a call to something greater than they could imagine was awakening. As the evening wrapped around them like a warm blanket of promise, the conversation carried on, flowing like the stream of light they envisioned. And as laughter mingled with reflections, the air surged with a spark of divine energy. Suddenly, a sharp gasp broke through the joyous exchange. It was the elder from earlier, his eyes wide with disbelief. "I saw it!" he exclaimed, his voice cracking. "I saw a vision of a storm, one that threatened to sweep over us. But then I saw a great wall of light, rising to meet it." Intrigued gasps filled the atmosphere. What could this storm mean? What were they preparing for? Elijah leaned in closer, sensitivity intertwining with holy curiosity, as he realized their journey was far from over. They were just beginning to scratch the surface of what God had in store. What awaited them amid the tumult? Would they stand firm at the edge of the storm, unwavering in their faith? Or would their light embrace the challenge, shining brighter against the darkness ahead? The answers hung tantalizing in the air, shimmering with promise for the next chapter of their collective awakening. The murmurs of the congregation settled into an expectant hush. Hearts raced, each soul sensing the weight of the elder's vision. Those who had once felt timid about sharing their faith were now filled with fervor, each awaiting Elijah's next words. "How do we prepare for this storm?" A voice broke through the silence, laced with urgency. Eyes turned to Elijah, the brother whose heart had been ignited with divine purpose. He paused, inhaling deeply, sensing the power of that question. "Preparation comes from within," Elijah replied, his voice steady, grounded in truth. "We must fortify our spirits through prayer. We must immerse ourselves in the Word. This storm, it may seek to shake our resolve, but we have been chosen to stand as a beacon of hope." He felt the energy swell around them, lifting each heart with determination. The flickering candlelight danced as if in agreement, illuminating faces that wore expressions of resolve, softened with wonder. "What else can we do?" another member inquired, longing for something tangible amid the divine mystery. "Let us gather, not just to pray, but to strategize," Elijah declared, a spark igniting in his eyes. "Let us share not only our visions but our actions. What can we do for our community? For those who are lost? We need to embrace every opportunity to be the hands and feet of Christ." The excitement was palpable as ideas flowed freely. They spoke of organizing community meals, supporting those in need, and reaching out to neighbors who had wandered away. As hearts began to beat in unison, an undeniable unity formed within the space, a warmth like sunlight on a chilly day, but amidst this joy, a shadow flickered at the edge of their minds. The elder who had seen the storm suddenly raised his hand once again, his brow furrowed with something deeper. "We must also remember, this is not just about us. There are forces against us. Forces that thrive on chaos and division. They will not take kindly to our awakening." The room fell silent, a collective shiver passing through the crowd. The weight of his words lingered, echoing a shared truth that many had felt but few had spoken. What can they do to us if we are united in love? A younger member asked, clenching her fists, a fire burning in her spirit. If we are truly light, then darkness cannot prevail. Elijah smiled, pride swelling within him. Amen. Let that be our battle cry. We are not afraid of the storm if we have each other. Let every encounter with darkness remind us of our purpose to shine brighter. As they rejoiced in this newfound conviction, the atmosphere hummed with electricity, the promise of what was to come intertwining with a shared faith. They prayed, each word a thread binding them tighter together, reinforcing the wall of light that the elder had seen, but just as they began to feel invincible, a deep silence enveloped the room once again. Elijah noticed a flicker of uncertainty cross a few faces. Fear would always whisper in the shadows, and he recognized the need to confront it head-on. "Friends, we need to be aware of what might come," he said gently, his voice carrying the weight of wisdom. "There will be trials ahead. But remember, we can find strength in our vulnerability. This is not just a call to fight, it's a call to love even harder. To seek unity and embrace the divine love that binds us together." With those words, energy began to rise anew, warming their hearts as they pictured the vibrant wall of light, now built on faith, hope, and communal love. Yet, with each promise made, there lingered a question, a prophetic challenge hovering in the sacred air they breathed. As they wrapped up their gathering, the urgency to act weighed heavier than ever. What would their first step look like in this divine awakening? How would they navigate the storm while remaining steadfast in faith, wrapped in God's light? The answers seemed like distant stars, shining with promise yet obscured in the darkness that loomed ahead. Their journey had just begun, and the echoes of divine revelation awaited them in the next chapter. As the congregation slowly began to disperse, the energy that infused the space lingered, palpable like the afterglow of a shared embrace. Hearts were buzzing, souls ignited with purpose. Elijah moved through the room, affirming hugs and exchanging knowing glances. Each interaction was a reminder of the unity they had forged. But as Elijah stepped outside, he felt an unsettling coolness in the air. The sun was dipping low on the horizon, casting long shadows that danced in the evening light. He paused, taking a moment to breathe deeply, grounding himself in the knowledge that everything they had discussed would soon be put to the test. He raised his eyes to the heavens, whispering a prayer for guidance. "No weapon formed against us shall prosper," he murmured, channeling the strength of that ancient promise. Later that evening, Elijah gathered his closest companions. They settled around a rustic wooden table beneath old oak trees, the branches whispering tales of battles won and lost. The flicker of candlelight illuminated their faces, revealing the mix of courage and concern. "We must put our plans into action," he began, looking each friend in the eye. "But we also need to be prepared for resistance in the heart and in the world." The group nodded solemnly. Beth, a gifted organizer with a kind spirit, leaned in. "Let us start by reaching out to our community. We can create a safe space, a refuge in the storm. A place for healing, prayer, and fellowship." "Yes," echoed Thomas, excitement shimmering in his voice. "And we should include activities for our young people. They need to be anchored in faith, strengthened in understanding of who they are in God's eyes." As ideas circulated, a vivid picture began to emerge: a vibrant community center where all could come, a sanctuary for the weary, a light against the gathering darkness. Yet, as the meeting progressed, a sense of trepidation lingered. Elijah couldn't shake the feeling that their intentions would face challenges unseen. "Let us not forget to pray over every plan we make," he advised, his tone shifting to match the serious atmosphere settling around them. "Our best laid intentions mean nothing without God's blessing. It's essential to invite His presence in every step we take." With that, they bowed their heads together, voices rising in soft harmony. Each prayer was a thread woven into the collective tapestry of their mission, a shield against the doubts creeping in. But that very night, as Elijah returned home, an eerie stillness enveloped him. The air felt heavy, thick with unspoken fears. He locked the door behind him, pressing his forehead against the cool wood for a moment. Suddenly, the stillness shattered. A startling knock reverberated through the humble space. He opened the door cautiously, heart racing with the unknown. Before him stood a stranger cloaked in shadows. "Who are you?" Elijah whispered, instinctively stepping back. The figure's eyes glinted, mirroring an intensity that struck him deeply. "I've come to warn you. There are forces that know of your plans and they will not sit idly by. What you undertake is not just a community effort, it's a divine calling. They fear your awakening." Elijah's heart thudded, awareness flooding his senses. "What must we do?" He breathed, feeling the weight of the warning. The stranger leaned forward, voice low yet piercing. Pray as if your very lives depend on it. For the storm is not only coming, it is already here. As the stranger turned to leave, a sense of urgency gripped Elijah. How could they prepare for a battle of this magnitude? How could they stand firm against forces bent on their destruction? The moment hung in the air, vibrating with unanswered questions. Their sacred journey had evolved into a spiritual war, and answers were crucial. What would the next step look like? What strategies could shield them against the unseen? A wave of determination crashed over him. They would face whatever emerged together, armed with faith and love. As Elijah closed the door, a single thought echoed in his mind: were they truly ready for the revelations that awaited them? Only time would tell. Elijah sat in the stillness of his home, a storm of thoughts swirling within him. The stranger's warning replayed in his mind, each word settling like a pebble in calm water, creating ripples that reached into every corner of his heart. The weight of the warning mixed with the promise of their mission, and he knew their path would not be easy. He knelt down to pray, surrendering the worry that draped over him like a cloak. As he closed his eyes, he envisioned his community, each soul from the congregation, a fingerprint in their shared mission. The faces of his friends brightened his thoughts: Beth's unwavering spirit, Thomas's infectious enthusiasm, and each child's laughter that he could hear on the warm summer days. Lord, he whispered, please guide us through the storm. We seek your strength to stand firm, to hold fast to our mission. Elijah remained like that for a while, lost in a place of communion, until he felt a lightness pulling at his heart. In that sacred stillness, he sensed a divine assurance that surged through him. It wasn't just an idea, it was a promise, a vivid reminder that he was not alone. Once he stood, Elijah felt compelled to reach out to the others. He needed them to understand the urgency, to recognize that the call had grown greater. He decided to hold an impromptu gathering the very next day, one that would strengthen their bond and fortify their resolve. Morning broke clear and bright, an encouraging harbinger of the day ahead. As he made his way to the center, bright rays of sunlight poured through the trees, illuminating the path as if heavenly hands had swept aside the morning mist. The air buzzed with possibility. When the friends arrived, Elijah could tell the atmosphere was different. There was an electric energy, a collective anticipation hovering just above their heads. Sitting around the table again, Elijah cleared his throat, gathering their attention. I spoke to a stranger last night, he began, unfolding the story with careful urgency. He warned me that we are up against forces that fear our awakening. They will try to distract us, discourage us, and even divide us. But we must be ready. A hushed silence fell over the group, each face reflecting a mix of concern and determination. Beth broke the stillness, her voice steady. We've faced adversity before. This is just another storm. Together, we can be the refuge others seek. Thomas chimed in, fierce resolve in his voice. We have to stand strong, united in our faith. We must not waver. We were made for this moment. His words ignited a spark in their hearts, and Elijah could feel the hope radiating through the group. As they shared ideas on how to combat these unseen threats, the plans became bolder, infused with a sense of divine purpose. They decided to create a series of events focused on prayer and worship, inviting not just their friends but the wider community. They envisioned evenings spent in fellowship, messages of hope, and gatherings under the stars, where they would call forth the promises of God. Just as their ideas began to take form, a sudden gust of wind swept through, sending a chill down Elijah's spine. It swirled around as if carrying whispers of doubt with it. Did you feel that? He asked, eyes darting toward the horizon where dark clouds began to creep in. A nameless tension threaded through the group, and for a moment, they sat in silence, the gravity of their mission settling deeper within their hearts. Remember what I said about prayer, Elijah urged, breaking the stillness that threatened to engulf them. Let us not forget that it's not just about planning. We need to keep our hearts aligned with God. Only He can fortify our steps. Together, they bowed their heads, enveloped in a fervent prayer, each voice merging into one unified plea. They sought divine clarity, wisdom, and protection, knowing the battle ahead was not of flesh and blood, but of spirits and unseen forces. As they finished, a sense of resolve glowed among them. Yet, in the shadows, an unsettling awareness lingered. They were stepping into brave territory, and while they felt strengthened by their faith, a deeper apprehension tugged at them. What would come next? Elijah's spirit stirred with anticipation. They were on the brink of something sacred, but as truth revealed itself, would they be ready for the full weight of their calling? What awaited them in the next chapter of their journey? As dawn painted the sky in soft pastels, a spirit of anticipation curled around the hearts of Elijah and his companions at Heart of Zion. They gathered once more, not just as friends but as warriors prepared for the spiritual battle ahead. A renewed energy hummed between them, filling the space with a vibrant rhythm of hope. Elijah stood firm at the front, his heart pulsating in time with the promises each of them had testified to. "Brothers and sisters," he began, his voice steady and resonant, "today, we rise to meet the unknown. Today, we declare that the whispers of doubt will be silenced by the faith that binds us." Hope stirred within the congregation, igniting fervor. The room was thick with expectancy as he laid out their strategy, a weekend of prayer and outreach that would declare their mission to the larger community. "We will be the light. We will fill the streets with worship, reaching those who wander and feel lost," he proclaimed, his words uplifting like a smooth breeze on a tense day. The eager faces around him nodded, embracing the call. Beth brightened the mood, "Let us gather together under the stars. We will invite everyone. We can't forget that love is infectious, and God's light is uncontainable." Each idea floated like a balloon, lifting spirits higher, joy dancing in every corner of the room. The plan solidified, the group prepared for their gathering. Words of assurance brushed against the air as they prayed and strategized. Sunlight streamed through the windows, reflecting off their faces, illuminating every heart and spirit. But just as their excitement soared, a shiver touched the atmosphere. The wind outside picked up, shadows creeping through the trees as if warning them of what lay ahead. "Stay vigilant," Elijah urged. "We know the enemy's tactics. But we stand united, burning brighter than before." Their murmurs, now prayers mixed with shouts of faith, surged through the walls like an echoing anthem. As the sun dipped low, the community gathered in the park, families and friends drawing close together. Elijah gazed out, eyes filled with gratitude and fierce love. "This is the moment," he declared, hands raised high. "We are here, together, arms linked in purpose." Music filled the air, creating an atmosphere of joy and celebration. Each note embraced them, spiraling to the heavens, carrying their prayers like fragrant incense. And then it happened. As hearts resonated together, a presence descended among them, a gentle waves of warmth interspersed with electric jolts of divine energy. Gasps rippled through the crowd, eyes shining, souls awakened. There was a divine shift, the promise of something profound unfolding in their midst. The elder from before stepped forth, voice trembling with reverence, "Look at this gathering. This is our light. This is the beginning of the change we have prayed for." Hearts that once felt heavy unfurled, filled to the brim with renewed hope. Miracles began manifesting right before their eyes, people sharing testimonies of healing, laughter spilling forth from broken hearts now joyously united. The air crackled with faith, mixed with tears of joy and awe. Elijah watched, his own heart overwhelmed with gratitude. And yet, even amidst the triumph, a shadow lingered nearby, the darkness they had sensed, the forces that knew of their mission. Yet, Elijah took comfort in the bond forged between them, realizing they were stronger together, fortified by love, grace, and relentless faith. As the sun set, painting the horizon in fiery hues, a collective confession filled the air. "We are conquerors. We will not back down." The echoes of their voices intertwined, a spiritual declaration that reverberated through the city, binding hearts in unity against the darkness. In that sacred moment, Elijah realized their battle was not one of fear but one of unfaltering love. The shadows might threaten, but together, they ignited a flame of hope that would light even the darkest nights. With arms raised in a cadence of shared prayers, Elijah called out, may we be vessels of your love, shining so brightly that no darkness can resist our light. Lord, we invite you into this movement. Let our collective voice resound, let our love break every chain. As they concluded in prayer, the air shimmered, thick with the presence of something greater. Like a wave, they felt it, a collective spark where heaven kissed earth. Hearts overflowed with an inexplicable peace, the light mingling with their spirit. Elijah opened his eyes, gazing into the faces of his brothers and sisters, and he knew they were on the brink of their greatest spiritual awakening. A wave of transformation would sweep through the streets, and they were called to lead the way. And as they stood united, ready for the journey ahead, a single voice rang out amidst the murmurs, "We are light. We are one." The crowd erupted in affirmation, and that divine declaration echoed long into the night. This was their moment. Friends, it's time for you to become part of this movement. You need to subscribe now to witness the unfolding glory of God through these exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and share this powerful journey with others who yearn for hope. Comment below your own reactions and testimonies about the transformation you witnessed. And don't wait even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this divine manifestation. Together, let us carry this light into every corner of the world.